You know, this one section of the article actually does reveal what the establishment is scared of. Although it's unclear whether the demonstrators represent a large segment of voters or even of Republicans. See, there's where they admit a lot of these people are outside of the Republican spectrum. Therefore, it's not conservatives that are just there. Saturday's march illustrated that activists, some of whom are not enthusiastic about the GOP, have been galvanized. Well, when you put out the same crap through both parties, which are totally and completely controlled, and the media is an open joke, what do you expect to happen? Of course people are going to have to wake up. And that's why they've done this in a slow, incremental manner. That's why they've taken years to gut the economy. That's why they've taken this long to put this legislation out there. That's why they expanded the war in front of your eyes, but the media didn't continue to cover it. That's why Barack Obama doesn't want to look at 9/11 truth, because the same agenda that was under the Bush administration is the same agenda under the Obama administration. They let the Bush administration start the hard wars of conquest, the nitty-gritty in the Middle East. Now they're going to let the Obama administration pass the hardcore legislation that's going to lead us into an even more fascist government than the one that we have right now. And believe me, that the government we have right now is so corporate-owned, so establishment-run. We really already have fascism in this country. It's that simple. All right, we're going to go to your calls. The number is 888-201-2244. Let's go to Forrest in West Virginia. Forrest, you're on the line.
Hey, Jason. I'd like to talk about how I woke up to 9/11 truth.
Let's hear it.
Well, back in 2004, I was into this thing called religious science of mind. Right? So I was at a bookstore searching for any books on infinite love, eternal life. That's what Ernest Holmes was talking about in the Science of Mind book. So it led me to David Icke's book. I was going through it and just seeing the documents that y'all talked about it, movies and things, and it just blew me away. So I was kind of half awake for a while. I didn't want to believe it. I would watch some debunking movies that make me feel better. And I just started watching a bunch of YouTube movies, and then listening to the Alex Jones show on the regular, listening to all the guests, and that's just what woke me up. And I think that a lot of people that aren't awake to 9/11, or that maybe kind of awake, or that may have gone back to sleep, it's because they think that by saying it was an inside job, they're unpatriotic.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
think that was reiterated during this new National Day of Service. Remember, 9/11 was touted internationally now as Patriot Day, and of course patriots don't question 9/11. Obama went to Egypt and he actually said, let me quote it for you. He said, I know there are those of you out there that question the attacks of 9/11 or even justify them. And then he said, well, now is the time to realize that these people are real and we need to go after them. So in other words, he equated actually questioning the attacks with somebody who would justify them. No one's justifying the death of 3,000 innocent people, but he wants to lump people who will question what happened into that category, making you a non-patriot and really, an enemy, one of the extremists they write about in these MIAC report, or a terrorist, since they tried to blur that line. Extremist equals terrorist after all. And that's why they're labeling it Patriot Day. And you're right, it does work on some mental levels with people who don't want to face the truth. I thank you so much for the call. See, there's somebody who did look at the other side, looked at the debunkers, and could see past their lies, their evil, their deliberate Johnny nonsense. Again, now a year plus ago, I'm there on the 8th anniversary. One of the debunkers comes up. I'm answering question after question after question, putting him in his place. I mentioned one article that he can't find. That's the one small section that he posts on the internet. He says, oh, Jason Bermas is the liar. No one ever reported 2,700 degree temperatures. No one in FEMA reported that. Oh, he makes things up. What's he talking about? So then I produced the article. Does he recant? Does he take his video? No, he just puts his head in the sand and acts like the altercation never, ever happened. All right, let's go to our next caller. Let's go to Andy in North Carolina. Andy, you're on the line.
Hey, Jason, what do you say, bud?
How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. I was just watching the protest today, and I really wish I could have been there to help push 9/11 truth. But, man, I got to tell you, that was just the wackiest mob of Ronald Reagan-wearing T-shirt, redneck Republicans I mean, I've ever seen in my life. I mean, those cats, if Newt Gingrich would have bounced out there and said, come on, we're going to take over, they would have went right along with him, and we'd have a fascist government today, right now. Boom.
And I think that is the problem. But at the same time, the media is going to marginalize people like yourself and others who weren't along those party lines. They want to play up, they want to play up the racism angle. So if they show a bunch of people who are in cowboy hats and have the, Reagan T-shirts on, they can, try to justify that in other, the left's mind, the people that are still caught in this paradigm. But if they show somebody how many times did you see the news actually show the Obama socialism joker on TV?
No,
you
didn't see that hardly at all.
Really, you didn't see that hardly at all, because if you read the mainstream accounts in the newspaper, they were all over the place. That's how the media works. They want to marginalize the people that are getting beyond the paradigm. Well, and the numbers. See how it works on so many different levels. And, I felt that way too. There's no doubt in my mind that there was a plethora of people like the ones you're talking about. Again, I went to the Tea Party in San Antonio where Glenn Beck, their god, was. And God forbid I talk about Glenn Beck bad. All of a sudden I was making enemies with people who were shaking my hand just moments ago. Or God forbid I take out the document about civilian internment labor camps that aren't supposed to exist, and I show them to somebody, then I'm an extremist, then I'm a terrorist. But let's be honest, it's good to see a couple million people out on the Capitol for any reason whatsoever. It shows me we're not dead yet, Andy.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. And that is true. Anytime you get a couple million people out, it's a really good thing, but it just really shows how galvanized, hardcore left-right paradigm we really are. Because where's all this handle-wearing hippies? Where are they? Why aren't they out protesting the war? The war's ramped up. It's cranked up. I mean, they should be out there, and they're not. It's just a sad state of affairs, but hopefully we can turn them around.
I agree with you. Thank you so much for the call. Let's go to Mark in Oregon. Mark, you're on the line.
Good evening, Jason. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are the canine fellows doing?
Oh, they're doing well. We actually got a little rain, so they're a little wet this week. But other than that, hey,
I
smiles
thought you were going to
and
say they actually got a little puppy.
No, I got to listen. 3 pit bulls is too many. I got 3 dogs. It's like having kids. That's enough for me. But yeah, no, we got a little rain out here. It's actually been nice. It's been not 105 every day. I'm kind of digging it.
Well, I know. I prayed for you guys to get some rain. Neither you nor Alex ever complain about something so mundane as the weather. So
that's true.
I heard it was kind of drought-like down there a while back, so I was sure praying for you. Jason, we have basically, I've got an idea, and I just wanted you to take note of it. And if it has any applicable merit, I think it would really work well. But on Joyce Riley's show this past week, the Power Hour, if you're familiar with that one.
Yep.
A caller called in, someone who travels the country, and they said that there were a lot of blank billboards throughout the country on busy federal and state highways, and that he quoted, he seemed to have some knowledge of it. He said the average price to rent one of those for a month are $500, which for a month's exposure, is some really key information, warning, advertisement even for Alex's and yours new releases or whatever releases y'all have had in the past. All of these could be applied to billboards. Now, the kernel of my idea, Jason, is possibly and it's only an idea I've had, and I don't know if it's applicable, like I say, but if you could have a kind of a sub-money bomb, casual type money bomb, that are something formal enough to where it would actually be call in to donate or donate on the internet and or to collect together a fund for people to draw out of, say, and it might work out to a 50-50 split or something like this to back people or totally finance people. The details could be done to actually get messages on boards throughout the country about the vaccination poison, about 9/11, perhaps with some key facts, but just the most urgent thing.
Well, I think that is a really good idea, but I think that the way that it would have to work if we were able to do something like that is somebody would have to take charge and actually call these establishments up and get actual prices, and then they would have to probably do their own sub-money bomb where we weren't really involved. And if they wanted to put Infowars.com or investigate 9/11 on them, I would be totally encouraging. But something that people can do right now today with no money or a fraction of even $500, you may not get a month's coverage unless you want to go out there every day for a month, is you go get a can of spray paint, you go get a white sheet, and you do some video blogging where it's essentially the same exact thing, where you have a king-size sheet with a message and a website and people out there, and that way you can hand out DVDs at the same time. But I agree with you. One of the things I notice almost every day as I'm driving into work are the enormous billboards that I pass, and this is a rough economy. So, I encourage people to maybe have a sub post somewhere on the forums or a 9/11 blogger or a We Are Change or a truthaction.org, because I think that's a great idea, Mark, and I thank you for the call. Let's jump to Michael in New York City. Michael, you're on the line.